Hey everyone, let's get into XRP. And wow, I have to show you this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple literally just updated their X banner. So what's going through your head right now? What are they really saying about Wall Street and XRP? The internet is blowing up with theories about this banner at the moment. Here's my take on it. Wall Street's front and center. Is Ripple teasing us that Wall Street is ready to dive in? Then you've got that bull. Classic sign we're crushing it in a bull run. Unless it's a signal that one's about to explode. That clock though, think about it. Maybe they're warning us the window is closing. Lock in your position today. And wait, check out that receipt showing 1,984.10 euros. Could this be their way of dropping a price hint? Honestly, we really don't know what this banner means. So, what are your thoughts on it? Drop them in the comment section down below. I'm curious. This next bit comes from Vet. The difference between Ripple XRP and the XRP ledger. Let me tell you why this matters. People won't stop asking, how do I buy Ripple shares? Here's the reality. As a retail investor, you're buying XRP, the cryptocurrency itself. Ripple is a company building software products like RippleNet. XRP is the cryptocurrency you invest in, and the XRP ledger is the blockchain powering the whole system. So XRP isn't actually the blockchain, right? This is the exact reason I keep drilling this into your heads. Imagine tokenized assets pouring onto the XRP ledger, and then visualize XRP acting as the engine moving all that incredible value around. Day after day after day. Now here's where it gets really interesting. XRP serves as a bridge currency. It has the ability to connect any two things of value. Seriously, it could even shuttle US dollars as they exist today. Good old-fashioned fiat money. Raoul Paul, the 4-year cycle is now a 5-year cycle. Give this a listen.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other real other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4-year cycle this time around is a 5-year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see where they all end up getting refinanced, whether it comes back to 4 because they managed to get some stuff at the long end, or whether they shorten it because everything's in the short end. We don't know yet, but this one is a 5-year cycle. And this is what it looks like. The 5.4-year sine curve, 5.4 years is the exact average weighted maturity of the debt. And it tells us the ISM should peak by 2026. We think liquidity probably peaks before that, as the rate of change of ISM changes and the rate of change of liquidity changes. Our best guess remains well into 2026, probably Q2.
So he actually threw this prediction out right before that brutal Bitcoin crash we lived through. Yeah, when it plunged beneath $93,000. Here's where my head's at. Bitcoin might have one final pump left in it before the floor gives out. But real talk, I'm genuinely questioning whether that's going to materialize anymore. Because look around. The whole story is rewriting itself right now. The entire game feels like it's morphing. The 4-year cycle, in my opinion, is cooked, but I think it's lights out, specifically for Bitcoin. I think it's game over for Ethereum too. I believe we are about to cross into a utility cycle era. You could say a utility run. Stablecoin. Liquidity displays clear uptrend. When will Bitcoin price follow? Want my honest answer? It won't follow. Period. I think stablecoins are absolutely running away with the show. Because let's really think about this. What's the tired old pitch they've been selling you about Bitcoin? Abandon your US dollars and stack Bitcoin instead. You need Bitcoin as your safety net against the US dollar. But here's where things get wild. Because we've got stablecoins anchored to the US dollar now, we're basically launching the dollar into territories that never even got close to US dollars before. I'm talking about struggling nations across the globe. Why does this matter? Because stablecoins have literally granted the entire planet entry to the US dollar. And that's the real reason why Bitcoin is watching its narrative fall apart. You know what's wild? This whole Bitcoin thing was supposed to be about protecting us from the dollar, right? Kicking the banks to the curb and all that revolutionary stuff. But here's the reality check. Those banks? Yeah, they're staying put. The US dollar? Not going anywhere either. And let's be honest, people aren't exactly lining up to use Bitcoin for their everyday purchases. I mean, why would they? It's painfully slow and ridiculously expensive to actually use. Capitulation, R rotation, 867 million, flees Bitcoin ETFs amid dip below 100K. Now they're even talking about the Xrp ETF launching. Plus the Solana ETFs are in the mix too. And guess what? Even those ETFs are bleeding money. The entire landscape is shifting before our eyes. Look, the mainstream media outlets are desperately trying to keep this story alive, pushing the same old narrative. But honestly, that narrative is falling apart more and more every single day. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. Money is quietly moving out of Bitcoin and flowing into other alternatives. That's exactly why I'm still convinced that the Xrp ETFs are going to crush the Bitcoin ETFs when we look back years from now. Gold bug. Peter Schiff says Strategy's entire business model is a fraud, and SMSTR will eventually go bankrupt. And honestly, I think the guy's on to something. He's not alone in this either. Even Kevin O'Leary has been saying the exact same thing. And you know what? The timing of these statements isn't random. At least that's my take on it. Then you've got this absolutely insane headline. Jeffrey Epstein and Bitcoin Pizza Day is no coincidence. Wait, what? Now they're literally connecting Bitcoin to Pizzagate? We all know the dark implications there. Child trafficking, illegal activities, the whole 9 yards. This narrative just popped up out of thin air, and I'm telling you, I think someone dropped this bomb deliberately at this exact moment. Why? Just look at what's happening with Bitcoin's price right now. It's been tanking hard, day after day after day. Part of me is starting to wonder if this cycle is actually done for Bitcoin. But deep down in my gut, I still think there's one massive pump left before everything comes crashing down spectacularly. Will we see 200K? Honestly, I doubt it. What about 150K? Now that's actually possible. But make no mistake, the narrative is completely shifting right under our noses, and that famous 4-year cycle? Yeah, that's definitely finished. This is an incredible statistic from JP Morgan. Younger adults are entering the market earlier. The share of 25-year-olds in 2024 that used investment accounts was 37% versus 6% for 25-year-olds in 2015. Here's what I think is really going on. People are finally waking up to reality. They're realizing, holy crap, I've got to invest in something. I can't keep living paycheck to paycheck forever. I need to actually make money. So when they've got a little extra cash sitting around, they want to put it somewhere smart. And that's exactly why we're seeing fresh investors flooding into crypto every single day. Look, crypto is genuinely your best shot at escaping that soul-crushing 9-to-5 grind, breaking free from the matrix. Because here's the beautiful thing. Crypto is one place where you can start with almost nothing. Just 10, 20 bucks a week. That's it. And before you know it, you're staring at money that could literally transform your entire life. We're talking real financial freedom here if you play your cards right with crypto. Now flip over to the stock market for a second. What's the best you're going to get? A measly 5, maybe 10% bump if the stars align, and that's your ceiling. And here's the harsh truth. Unless you're already sitting on a mountain of cash in stocks, forget about becoming a multimillionaire through that route. It's just not in the cards. But crypto? That's a completely different ballgame. Sure, lightning might strike once in a while in traditional markets, but you'd need the kind of luck people write fairy tales about. Crypto's where things get interesting, though. When you pick the right coins, you're not throwing darts blindfolded. You're backing technology that's literally going to reshape how the world moves money. The Internet of Value isn't some pipe dream. It's inevitable. Diana just dropped this bombshell. Update Franklin Templeton's. Xrp Etf goes live tomorrow, and Bitwise is right behind it on November 20th. This is exactly what I've been talking about. This week is going to be absolutely explosive for XRP. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting to see the actual numbers. How much XRP are these ETFs going to gobble up? My gut tells me Franklin Templeton is coming in hot with a monster. Day one's here, folks! And listen, I'm calling it right now. Every single one of these ETFs is going to follow the same explosive pattern we just witnessed with Canary. Don't believe me? Well, she literally points out, analysts are already saying Xrp could match or even be Canary's huge day one volume, simply because big money prefers allocating through a heavyweight like Franklin. And here's why I'm nodding my head so hard at this. Franklin Templeton isn't just big, they're a legitimate powerhouse in this space. We're talking leagues ahead of Canary here, people. Alright, now let me blow your mind with something. Xrp math leaves only two outcomes, and both are bullish. Chad Steingraber just laid it out as simple as possible. There are only two scenarios now that XRP spot Fs are launching. 1. XRPs. Price stays where it is, and Fs absorb the entire circulating supply within 12 months. 2. XRP price rises dramatically, and ETFs buy less because it costs more per token. Either ETFs drain the supply or price explodes upward. There is no bearish path in this equation. And look, I'm not just saying this because it sounds good. This logic is absolutely rock solid. These ETFs, they're about to light a fire under this price, and I'm talking days, not months. Oh, before I forget, heads up everyone, we're literally 24 hours away from Franklin Templeton's ETF hitting the market. Tomorrow is go time. But here's where things get absolutely wild. Ripple has Tier 1 banks as partners because XRP will be classified as Tier 1 by the BIS. You read that right. XRP will be a Tier 1 asset alongside gold. Most XRP holders are not ready for what is coming for XRP. Let that sink in for a moment. The second BIS stamps that Tier 1 classification on XRP, boom, instant liftoff. We're talking about price action that'll make your head spin, a complete light switch moment. And, plot twist, this might not even wait until Basel III drops in January. We could legitimately see this unfold any day now. By the end of this year, guys, and seriously, keep this front and center in your mind because we're talking about a massive short-term catalyst brewing for this crypto. Here's what I need you to understand. From this point forward, pure bullish momentum for XRP. I don't care which angle you're looking at this from. Anyone thinking about selling right now? Oh man, they're going to be kicking themselves so hard when this price finally breaks out. And trust me, that breakout is locked and loaded. It's definitely coming. I'm still convinced we're going to witness a major capital rotation from Bitcoin straight into XRP. Actually, I think it's already happening behind the scenes. You notice all these Bitcoin maximalists suddenly hopping on the XRP train? Think about it. Just a few years back, these same people wouldn't even acknowledge this cryptocurrency existed. Now, They're bringing up XRP in practically every conversation. Why the sudden change? Well, I see two major reasons here. First off, they're genuinely worried that XRP might eventually overtake Bitcoin's position. And second, classic FOMO. They're terrified of missing out on something with this much potential. Just pull up that XRP chart for a second. It's absolutely mind-blowing, right? That chart alone should be screaming at you to grab this asset. Because when that breakout finally hits, the FOMO wave is going to be absolutely off the charts. Like nothing we've ever seen before. So until everything unfolds exactly how we expect, keep your cool, stay patient, keep that positive energy flowing. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap things up for today's video. I'll catch you in the next one.